Okay, so I didn't have my pillow yet. You want to stay on the floor now after our squats and use a bolster now. So a pillow is usually enough. You might need a couple. We're going to lie back on the pillow so that it's supporting your head and neck, but you still want the back of your rib cage to touch the ground. I hope you can see me. Yeah, you can see me. You still want the rib cage to touch the ground. So lying on the floor, rib cage on the ground, your lower back should come up a little bit off the floor, and then your tailbone or the back of your pelvis kind of touches the ground. So if you don't have any space in your low back there, try to raise it up a little bit by tilting the pelvis so that you have just a little bit of space in there, and it'll be more sustainable. So you're going to lay all the way down, and we're going to work on mobility for the shoulders doing floor angels. So with your hands down, your palms facing up, you're just going to bring them along the floor as high as possible up over your head without popping up your rib cage. So as soon as you start to angle in order to keep that mobility, to keep your arms on the floor, you know that that's your boundary. You want to put your ribs back down on the ground, and that's as high as your joints can go right now. So keep the rib cage on the ground. Start with the hands down and work at even keeping the thumbs on the ground and the whole back of your hand, and bring it up as high as your shoulders let you, and then back down. You want to try and do about 10 of these, keeping the thumbs down on the ground, and work at getting your arms higher with time, but not at the expense of popping up the rib cage. The reason for that is once we start popping out our chest, you're crunching in the low back again and expecting your low back to do all the work when we're trying to work on is the shoulders. So once you've done about 10 of those, you're going to stay in this position and then bring your knee in towards your chest, working towards grabbing your foot. So part of the goal, again, in working to grab the foot is keeping that slight space between the floor and your low back. So in order to grab your foot, if you have to round your spine and press your low back into the ground, you've gone past your boundary and it's putting tension on the low back again. So keeping that neutral pelvis, that's another name for it. Just go as far as is comfortable for you, squeezing the knee towards your chest. You can do that deep breathing into the rib cage again, trying to fill your breath and pull it into your back and kind of 360 ribs, and then blow it all the way out. Release, extend your leg, reestablish that neutral pelvis if you lost it at all, and then do the other side. Again, you might notice one side's more flexible than the other. That's fine. extend the other leg. And then go back to your right leg, and you're going to cross over your body to the other side. Again, you're going to think about that jar. So the pelvis is the bottom of the jar, your rib cage is the top. And you're screwing that. So your whole rib cage isn't going to stay on the ground, but try and keep it down as much as possible and just round, screw the jar, screw that bottom of the jar over to the side as you rotate. If it's uncomfortable or you feel pinching, you can take the block and extend your leg to rest on the block. Or you could use a pillow or something to support you so your joint's not just hanging there. Extend your leg, reestablish that neutral pelvis, and go to the other side, screwing the jar. I like to keep my arms out because it helps keep my rib cage down. But you could have them wherever feels good for you. It is good to have the palms up because it keeps your shoulders in the sockets better than if we're going like this. You're rounding forward, which we do too much at computers and slouching. This is a good time too for that rib cage breathing to give you a further stretch from the inside. So after that, you can come up. If you can get up without using your hands, it's all the better. Or using them as little as possible. And then see if you can come all the way up without using your hands. If you can't do that, then work at it, using a chair or a table to help you at first, but eventually being able to get up. The way I did it is probably not the easiest way, crossing like that. A better way could be coming onto your knees and then stepping into a lunge and getting up. Or if you have trouble with your knees, it may be that you could go to the side, step into a lunge, and bring your weight forward. But it's good to experiment with different ways to try and get up off the ground while using your hands as little as possible. But don't hurt yourself. So always have a chair or something close by to use. So next we're going to use the chair again. So again, these are great exercises to break up throughout the day. You can do them in all different ways. We're going to sit on the chair. Let me turn it. And similar to what we just did on the ground, you can stretch your back this way. Again, thinking about the lid of the jar. So my pelvis is straight forward, and I'm just rotating the rib cage. Take a deep breath in through the nose and out the mouth. You want to hold that for about a minute. For the sake of time, we won't do that now. But then you go to the other side. And then, I lost my screen. We're going to do some finger stretches. You could also do these while you're doing the calf stretches or the top of the foot stretches. But you're going to extend your arm in front of you, and the hand is spread wide. Spread your fingers as wide as possible. And then pull each finger behind you while keeping that finger straight, or not behind you. Pull each finger towards you while keeping the hand straight. Like this. If you can see it like this. You don't want to be like that. So don't bend your fingers. Just pull them back as far as possible, one at a time. And then you go to the other side. And wiggle them all out. Make a fist as tight as possible. And then spread your fingers out wide. Make a fist as tight as possible. Spread your fingers out wide. And one more time. And then you're going to bring your arms up so that they're about 90-degree angle. Palms are facing towards you, and they're about shoulder width apart. Bring your arms together, and then spread your hands, keeping your elbows together so that they spread out wide. So almost like peekaboo. You want to do this a few times, keeping your arms at that 90-degree angle. So don't start lowering them. You want to keep them up. All right, and then shake it out. You're going to stand up. Use the back of the chair if you have a chair like this. I also use like a counter or a table sometimes. And we're going to do a thoracic stretch. So feet are about hips width apart, and you just grab onto the back of the chair and kind of pull your body back. And you feel a great stretch between the shoulder blades and the arms. Take a deep breath into the rib cage and blow it all the way out. Try to hold that for about 5 breaths, but don't hold your breath. And then you want to return to the chair. Do your chair squats again. So you want to do at least 5 of these. There's a goldfinch trying to get into the window. Keeping your weight back in your heels. And then walk over to the nearest door frame. And you want to reach high to try and touch the door frame. So I'm going to come back over here so you can see me better. But every time you walk through a door frame, you could try to reach up and do that. But there's a couple of things you want to think about when you're doing it. So you probably guess what they are. Keep your weight back in your heels. Keep the rib cage down. So not down like you're slumping forward. But as we lift our arms up, in order to get your arms higher, you're going to pop out your chest. So don't do that for the sake of looking like you have mobility in your arms. So you reach up towards the door frame, keeping your ribs down. Only lift your arms as high as they're able to go. So that you're actually working on that shoulder mobility. So that concludes our mobility practice. I've got a quote for you as you continue your day. This is Maya Angelou. Let gratitude be the pillow upon which you kneel to say your nightly prayer. and let faith be the bridge you build to overcome evil and welcome good. Have a good day.